What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, man. As you go through the video, man, we're gonna hop into this electric dueling loadouts, man. I thought about separating this out to two separate things, but I'm gonna actually combine them in. So you will see the healing side as well as the DPS, the damage side of these loadouts. Okay. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Make sure you like, subscribe real quick, though. I know I just said without further ado, but still, make sure you like, subscribe to the video, all that good stuff. Please, thank you. All right, y'all. So, as you see, we do have our elite gear. We got our PVE gear essentially, right? Definitely make sure you have your OP items for sure. But you want to rock the PVE gear because for a few things. One, it has a lot higher stats. Two, you actually able to have these mods, the white mod sockets in them, whether it be for blast adapter, absorption adapter, and things of that nature. It's very want to rock for your weapon. The head, you're pretty much gonna go with whatever your PvE build is. You should be good, all things considered. Feet, I would definitely recommend you use Tumbler Mastery Hands, definitely max damage, or even regenerative shielding. You can pick either or there. Berserker for the back is going to help you tremendously. Penetrating strikes or even core strength for the chest there. Excuse my dog in the background, y'all. Escalating might or even relentless precision, depending on how you want to rock it. I normally use relentless precision, but since I did just put out my might DPS loadout for electricity, I had to go ahead and switch up to escalating might real quick. The head socket, I would definitely recommend you use critical wire 3 for the 2% extra critical attack chance. And then for affinity mods, in all honesty, you either want to go one of three routes. Your top A and B mods are going to be precision, health, or power. Depending on how you want to go by that. Power, if you need more power, you get stunned a lot. You need to block more. Things of that nature. You need to be able to use your abilities more. Health, if you're just pretty much getting one shot out the gate, you may need to go ahead and get your health up a little bit. And precision, if you just need to do a little bit more damage, okay? Might's okay too, like how I have here, but this is for my PvE general census right here. Type C and D, as you see what I have here, are pretty much what they're going to be. You could swap type D out if you are just doing the DPS side of things with sure-footed, which allows you to get a little bit more extra control resistance. And type C, you could actually make an argument if you're just doing straight DPS for the aggressive protection, which allows you to pretty much get a little absorption adapter shield whenever you use your weapon buff. So that's something you can definitely look into as well. Now, I will also say in terms of feat, you could use explosive block, which is very annoying to actually deal with. You can force a lot of your combatants actually out the ring for almost long enough, depending on how you do it. Maybe make them fall off the edge, fall off the building, whatever the case may be. And since they're going to be stunned from actually giving up for, not quite stunned, but it takes a little long to get up, so you can actually win the duel that way if you want to do explosive block. Dashing combos if you're going to use like Vortex Trap or something like that. If not, you can always go with deadly blocks, so whenever you do counter them, it's going to almost one-shot them with the artifacts that you got going on. Now for the legs, there's not anything we're going to really use there. You could use Spark Barrage if you're doing a lot of close range combat. Maybe they have like henchmen and stuff out and pets and stuff. But hey, you don't really need it, let's be honest. Now in terms of our trinket setup, you can use a tier 3 pet, or if you want to go ahead and pop in one of the Boo pets, just make sure it's one of them that I believe it's like Boo Jr. here, or even Baby Boo, I think also does it. And yeah, Miss Boo can help you out as well. Something that stuns you, gives you a shield, and just generally fights alongside you is going to be preferred, like Boo Jr. here. It's going to be one of the best ones to get for that. You could even make a case for your Heartthrob to debuff your enemy and stun them. Your Sunken Rune, if you want to get more power back, you can get the Troller one of it, and it'll help you out there. If you want to use like one of the Creepy Jacks for healing, if you fall below 40% of your health, the pet will heal you back, as well as the Death Seed Death Blossom Seed will also heal yourself and your pets and stuff. Okay, just so you have a few options there. Now you can definitely throw in an orbital or a supply drop as need be, depending on what kind of dueling you're doing. I definitely recommend that you go ahead and pop in your buff trinket, just because the more amount of damage you're able to do there. Your OMAC trinket is definitely going to be something you want to take into that as well, just because it will increase your health and toughness by 125%. On top of that, it will also give you a 5% critical attack chance with your weapon attacks. So that's going to definitely stack up nice when you go ahead and use the head socket with critical wire 3, which get 2%. That's going to be 7% chance right there. That's pretty much an additional Batman Who Laughs buff right there. Now in terms of the artifacts, you already know the deal. Clarion plus Demon Fang is very amazing right now. It's pretty much almost impossible to beat. You have to have a very couple of special builds to really lose with it. Well, let me not even say that. This is the meta right now. Clarion and Demon Fang is the meta. There's a few builds that can do well against it, and there's actually quite a few builds that can stand, toe to toe with it. If you're mental, if you're fire, your rage, ice, even sometimes earth, all of the tank powers as you see. A lot of the healers can do pretty good against it. Even trollers, if they debuff you enough and stun you enough. So it definitely has its weaknesses that it can be susceptible to, but if you're a good overall player, pretty responsive and able to adapt on the fly, Clarion Demon Fang is going to be the way to go. Now I like to pair with Transformation Card as general case use, but if you want to throw in your 35%er, you can even do something like the Amulet, which will definitely take you down for health, but with our loadout that you'll see we'll have shields and whatnot to prevent ourselves from taking the damage, as well as improving our damage for our abilities and healing ourselves whenever we hit our 35%er. Now, if you don't want to get damage for it, but you still want to throw in 35%er, and just pretty much whenever you get them down to a certain point, you want to just wipe them out completely, throw in the little Mort card. That's pretty much what it's going to do. Once you get down to that little, the specified range, that 35%, it's pretty much going to wipe them out and hit them with a mass amount of damage all at once. Okay. Now, as you see by my stats, you can go ahead and pause the video as need be to take a look at them and go from there. Now, as you see, I almost got 100k precision. Even my PvE don't have 100k precision, which is actually kind of funny, all things considered. Now, in terms of augments, whether it be head or for the body and the origin augments, I pretty much got all precision right here, because you'll see that precision spec is going to be the best for dueling, since you will be using your weapon and whatnot. If, let's say, you're fire or even one of the healers, you could throw in maybe some restoration in terms of the head, but I would definitely keep the body ones precision for the most part. Now, in terms of allies, I like to go with Death Metal Batman for Cloak and Snare. You're pretty much going to roll or block more than likely at least one time in that. And in that, you can get that defense debuff of 40%, which is going to help you stay alive, as well as the buff to your overall damage with your 10% might, 5% precision that's going to come to you, which is going to be phenomenal. Okay. Now, another thing that you can also go ahead and do is use Batman Who Laughs. My apologies, I almost misspoke there. Batman Who Laughs, Luck of the Draw, all the buffs that it gives you are just fantastic across the board for really any and all situations. Now, another thing that you could go ahead and do is use your summon pets by the Hear My Call. You get 10% extra damage if you're using a robot sidekick, a henchman, tier 3 pet, etc. Even something like Quizlet and stuff too will get a damage boost off of that. If that is not necessary in your ballpark, excuse my dog in the background, they're a little upset right now. That is not in your ballpark of what you want to use and what kind of you were feeling, or it's not something that is going to be applicable to the person that you're dueling against, I definitely recommend that you go ahead and even try out Shazam. With the power of Shazamly, whenever you use that combat ally, get that additional 6% might, 3% precision for 30 seconds. Definitely a wonderful buff that lasts a good bit. Now, if Shazam's out of your combat slot, which when it's in the combat slot is pretty good, especially in dealing with their pets, their henchmen and stuff like that, or even just single target, because it's essentially he does arc lightning, so we heal you and damage them. So nice little buff there. If you want to just flat out heal yourself and back your enemy away from you, maybe then back them out of the dual zone, you can definitely go ahead and use something like Nubia. If you want to debuff them to make sure they can you hit them harder and they do less damage to you, use Death Metal Batman. As a general case basis, I like to use Crypto for the most damage and that burning effect, or House of Legends Pot to just stun them and do a nice amount of damage as well. Okay, now in terms of actual spec, you pretty much want to spec as you would as a precision DPS. I like to go Brawling just because I like to use it, especially with the Brawling and Shuriken Storm Master. Is pretty much going to be my go-to to just wipe them out as soon as they start blocking. If you're super speed, you can definitely throw in that Vortex Trap, get your breakout masteries and all that. Phase dodge can be good and pliable. Dash attack, metabolic boost is fantastic. Speed drain, you could make some work with that. Kind of power wise, definitely get your Heartlight Shield. You could throw in a Robot Psychic, especially if you're going to use Emperor Aquaman. And I would highly recommend you use Super Strength. Okay, now you could make a case for Neo Venom Boost just for the defense buff that does give you, as well as increasing your damage output. Pheromone Bloom is pretty nice since it does give you a good heal back, as well as do some good burst damage in a close range basis to your enemy. Word Power is okay, but for what we're trying to do on a general case basis, in terms of damage wise, it's not going to be the best there. For actual stat point spec, like I said, this is going to be precision spec. If you want to more focus on dueling, I would still recommend that you get super powered focus just for that increased power and power generation. But if you want to try to one shot them out the gate, or one combo them, one face them out the gate, go at Weapons Expert and just pretty much go down the list. Get a critical attack chance, critical attack damage, max out precision, dump everything else mind power. Still get you about 1 skill point 5 or even 10 into health here, just so you topped off on there. And do 1 in restoration, 1 in bite, 1 in dom for those initial stats that you'll get there. In terms of actual loadout, it's pretty much going to be very simple. Tesla Ball to stun them and have a nice little dot. Wired so we can actually proc the Clarion. And in turn proc Demon Fang as well as boost our precision damage for a weapon. Arc Lightning not only stun them but heal ourselves and damage them as well. Robot Sidekick if you want something just to divert their attention and have a continuous dot on them. And then Flux and Heartlight Shield is what we're going to alternate in between, so we're pretty much almost never taking damage. It's a similar strategy that Mental does. Pretty much stack your shields up so you don't take the damage whenever your shield does pop. See if you can survive for a little bit and then pop your next one from there. Now Heartlight Shield is a better shield than Flux, and just keep that in mind whenever you are dealing with things. So Heartlight Shield is a 30-second cooldown as opposed to Flux, which is a 18-second cooldown. Okay, so you might want to hit Flux first, then Heartlight Shield, then Flux, and then when that runs out, you might be ready for Heartlight Shield again. Okay. Now, if you do want to throw in something, I would say take out the Robot Sidekick. You could throw in something like Vortex Trap to stun them even more and get some additional damage there. Electrogenesis if they keep running away out your Tesla Ball dot there. Or even you can throw in something pretty simple, pretty nice, pretty sweet, which is just Tesla Blast. Quick damage, a lot of short bursts, 100 power cost, very short cooldown, just a good thing all the way around. Or even throw one of your super Circuit Breaker, could help you tremendously, especially breaks you out of control effects and increase your damage by 55%. So that's pretty much going to guarantee that you should almost kill them definitely in time span that 15 seconds, okay? Now in terms of a healing side of things, you pretty much keep everything the same. You're just going to pretty much change roles into healer. And what you can have is a free slot here. I put Vortex Trap sometimes I put Tesla Ball, sometimes I put Electro Burst, or even maybe a Galvanize. Since we are on our PvE gear, we're able to actually take advantage and not worry too much about our power and our redstone, things of that nature, okay? But Electrogenesis for a nice healing dot over time for ourselves. Wired, so we still proc that Clarion, the Demon Fang, and things of that nature. arc lightning, so we can still heal ourselves and damage and stun them, and then still got our 2 shields there. So it's not a lot of variation with the loadout here from DPS to healer. Pretty much sub out electrolysis for Tesla Ball, and then, you know, pretty much you have a free slot where you can put Vortex Trap, which is a fantastic ability since you can't block it, you can't interrupt it, can't do nothing. You can just sit there and take it, and it stuns them and damage them, which is fantastic. And I already gave you a few alternative things that you can do. Okay, even phase dodge, Amazon deflection is something you can throw in if you need to. If you want to troll some people, clown box, just be careful with clown box because they can pick up the box and throw you out the ring. But yeah, that's about what I got for y'all right now. Just be careful on where you're using it, and let me know how it's been doing for you. If you're trying out my loadouts, if you have any constructive criticism for the loadouts or anything like that, any more video ideas, questions, comments, concerns, leave them all in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video out to everyone so they know and aware, and maybe even duel you, help get them dual feats on up for everyone in the community, including yourselves. But yeah, I have a lot more videos coming up here shortly. All my electricity videos are pretty much done and over with, and I'm going to start posting them slowly but surely, integrate those out. And then I'll move on to the next power, which I think should be water, going through the heal powers, the troll powers, and tank powers even this year. Make sure all the loadouts are updated for y'all, and so everyone's aware of what's going on and what's the best loadouts in the game today. But without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Pretty much already said that, but yeah, peace and shalom.